Good morning, welcome back to Operation Crypto live stream this morning. Been off for a few days, had to do some proper work, so coming back to crypto today. I've not really looked at the markets much over the last few days, so we'll have a look through a little bit of news first with this volcano mining, and then we'll do some price analysis on Bitcoin, have a look at some of the major caps, and then I'll take some requests from you guys. So I'll just wait for a few more to get in and then we'll crack on. Let me know how you're all doing in chat as well. Right, so the president of El Salvador just instructed the government of that geological company and the government geothermal electric company to put out a plan to offer facilities for Bitcoin mining with very cheap, 100% clean, 100% renewable, zero emissions energy from our volcanoes. And like I say, this is going to evolve fast. If you have a look at his page, there's a lot going on here to do with BTC, as you can imagine, but this is quite an interesting point here. Our engineers just informed me that I dug a new well that will provide approximately 95 million watts of 100% clean, zero emissions geothermal energy from our volcanoes. I'm starting to design a full Bitcoin mining hub around it, so that's absolutely massive. What you see is coming out is the well is pure water vapor. And going into this article here on Forbes, he has instructed the geothermal electric company to put together a plan for establishing a Bitcoin mining facility, which is massive. I did read that once this is fully built, it could be the largest Bitcoin miner in the southern hemisphere, which is quite big. So that's massively bullish for the long-term growth of Bitcoin, and in general just crypto in towards a mass adoption of crypto. I think it's massive. So that's done that, and then let's have a look at the price currently. So Bitcoin's currently trading at 36,643. We are trading within this range now, which looks pretty similar to what went on back here before we saw a major pump. I mean, there's been so many calls for 20k, 14k, 7k. I mean, 20k is down here. This was a previous all-time highs that got broke, and then eventually we did drop down and then pushed on and created some new highs. But currently I think personally I don't think we'll go below 30k. I think it's acted as some support. I mean, 3 times within that region. I mean, we hit 30k bang on the nose and we hit 31, and we've just been shy of 31k there. So 3 areas of solid liquidity. Every time we've wicked down to it, we've picked up some nice fresh buy orders and popped back up. And yesterday's daily candle was a bit of a beauty. I mean, dropping into 4 hour, you can see we've had a lovely bounce here. Actually, some of the lowest candles was closing on 4 hours for a long time there. So in general, I think things are starting to look good, and we are pushing up. What I was looking for yesterday, if we just go back to the daily, was a closure above 37k, and we did get that. We have had a slight rejection at a minute, but that's nothing to worry about. I think that today's candle will end up being a green one, so I'm potentially looking to maybe open a long on that. I mean, if the market does get a little bit of pullback, and let's just have a gander from the lowest point to the highest point in this current move, I reckon we could potentially come down to this 236 level at 36,130, maybe pick up some orders before we do push on, or we could even potentially come down to that 382 level, because in general I think the markets are starting to swing a little bit bullish on the lower time frames. I mean, you could also fill up one at 35k before we do pop on, so potential setup like this, come back down, pick an order up here, and then go on and test that magical 40k region that we've still yet to break through. I mean, we're not been above that region there at 40,858 pretty much since 26th of May, so you're talking a couple of weeks. We did try to get above it several times, but yeah, we kept failing. We have created a few pretty much lower highs really, so that in terms of structure that way is bearish, but we need to really start pushing up and closing some wicks above this region at 39k. Fingers crossed we can do that. I think then we'll pick up some momentum and start to push on. Let's just check on chat. How you doing, Crypto 7, mate? Yeah, I've not really looked at any prices. I've been that busy with work recently. Geothermal story's biggest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I agree, to be honest, mate. 40k, when 40k, I mean, what day are we on today? Thursday. We do know that we're coming up to the weekend, and can be usually quite bearish, can't we? We usually get a sell-off, but I mean, with this bullish news, we could go bullish into a weekend. Depends how the next 2 days go. I've still got a full 2 days of trading before the weekend comes. So let's hope we can push above 40k over the next few days. And then use that as some support, really. And then going into next week, hopefully we can push on. And then I think 42k is a region we need to look at. Is around here. So 42k is the next major level once we get through 40k. But yeah, fingers crossed we can break through that over the next couple of days and pretty much drag some momentum in for the weekend. So in terms of Bitcoin, lower time frames a little bit bullish. I mean, if you look on the high time frames, say the daily, it is still bearish. But to me, like I say, I think we're just consolidating now. I mean, if you look at this box here from 2nd of Jan all the way to the 6th of Feb, so we had pretty much a month worth of downward pressure before we picked up liquidity and popped off. I reckon the same's happening here. I reckon we could get a good solid month, maybe another couple of weeks, hang around 40k, and then still start trickling into July and August, pick up some momentum. Because if you're just looking at the stock to flow, let's just refresh that. I think if you're looking at these areas when we had some, when we started to turn yellow, we do see that we have some price increase. Same here, we had a bit of a pullback 2013, and then we did shoot up. I mean, if you're looking at this, which is supposedly a peak there, that's supposed to be March. That peak was supposed to be September. They did shoot over it quite. And then if you're looking at this one, I mean, it's showing that peak is around August. So I mean, potentially, anywhere from August to December could be probably a nice area for you to potentially see some all-time highs across the board. Because in my opinion, I don't think this run is over. I think we've still got another 6 to 10 months of growth before then we potentially come into a bear market and we do get some sell-offs. But in general, like I say, yeah, still massively bullish on Bitcoin, and that is mainly due to that. I kind of overlooked a Bitcoin stock to flow model the last few years because I thought, nah, not a chance. But as you can see over past, it does show that we have some good correlation with the colours and the all-time high region. So I mean, it's never precise. It's probably within a 6-month window of that spike there, but I think we can really start to push onto it and gain some more traction and create some all-time highs. 100k BTC probably will happen this year, or 99,999. It probably just won't pip it, will it? But I think that's a good target to have at some point over the next 6 to 10 months. So going back to the charts, that's BTC pretty much covered. I'll have a look at Ethereum next, and then I'll have a look at some other alts, and we'll go into some price analysis on some lower caps and drop some in the channel. Right, so with let's just drop into a 4-hour, look what's going on here. This is a potential setup I was looking for the other day. I was looking at 382 before we would retrace, but we did drop lower, so that's pretty much obsolete now. But really, it's not done much as it BTC. I mean, Ethereum, so we did go up to test 2900 again, but we rejected, so that is the first major level to get through. On the lower time frames though, let's have a look. I think we've picked up some momentum there. Yeah, we have. A bit of a nasty sell off there, to be honest, but looking at its current move from highs, lows to highs, currently coming down to this region here, so potentially I might look for a long here from this $2,500 mark, probably stop loss at around, maybe down to 618, only a 2%, but I'm going to go up and target this region up here at 2,900 again. I think if we let's put out there. So it's potential 16% move without any leverage. I might put up to ×5 on that, so that's a potential setup for me. I still think we're going to pick up some momentum soon once this bit of morning selling pressure has dropped off. So that's why I'm looking for an entry at 2,500, stop loss down at around 2,427, and then I'm going to go up and target that 2,900 level again. I think if we do push up to it, I'll probably just move my stop loss up in $50 movements as we climb up, and then if we do break through this, it might be worth holding on to at least 50% of that move at some stage. When would I buy in if I had money on the sidelines? I mean, it's up to you really, to be honest, mate, but I've just been I get a little bit of money in affiliates on Binance, and I just dollar cost average down. I mean, anything, if you're looking at BTC, anything below 40k, I think it's a decent buy, to be honest. And then whatever equates to in alts, I think even looking at VeChain, I think look how far we've dropped from these highs. So VeChain did an 82% drop, and currently 58% down from them highs, and I do think that they are not the highs of the current cycle. So I think anything around these regions for all alts, I'm just buying. Whatever spare funds I have, I'm buying it up. Just going back to Ethereum now, so just looking on the 1 hour. That's a potential setup for me, if the market does allow, and if it does let me come down here. So I'll post that on my Twitter shortly, and I'll see if we can get an entry. Just depends how it reacts this morning, to be honest. So that's pretty much Ethereum covered. If you're looking at ETH BTC, I had a bit of a sell-off on the hourly. That's because BTC's had a good push. Looking on the daily, that's a bit of a nasty sell-off, that really. But like I say, whenever BTC goes up, the alts in BTC pairs just get absolutely hammered. Been on a good rise ever since we had that pullback from back up there. Bang, we made some good moves. Use this area, pretty much 54,000 sats as support. Yeah, I think we're still in an uptrend there, so that's nothing to worry about. Alright, going into some alts anyway. So Zilliqa, not covered Zilliqa for a few days. This is still massively undervalued. They've got so much going on, it's ridiculous. First major target I've already got up here is that 15 cent barrier. I'm currently down at 11.2 cent. Another major sell-off. Chop into the hourly here. Currently using that 382 level as some support, and I think if you were looking for some entries, that probably would be the entry. I can't see it going much lower, man, because this isn't a bullish move, and you could see that it is a potential trend there. So I mean, looks like we pretty much use that 382 and that trend as some support there, and we may spin around now and really start to push on and target some new some local highs. That's the first area to break through at 11.7 cent, and we need to look at this region here. We've had a lot of liquidity within that region, going all the way from this region here all the way through, which is marries up. We're at 618 level 2, so that is the first major area to break through. I think once we do break above that, we can go on and target 15.5 cent. Yeah, you never know when Muscadet, buddy, but I think I read some other day about every time he tweets, it's having less and less of an impact, and he's just going to fade away eventually. Like at first, when he did that tweet and it pretty much shook crypto and everything, had a massive retracement. The several tweets after that over the last month or two have had less and less impact each time. So people have wisened up to realise that he's just a fucking clown. So not to take any notice of him, and Bitcoin will win over Musk at some stage. So yeah, all in all, I just ignore his tweets, to be honest, mate. KSM parachain auction start next week. You know what? I've never properly looked into KSM. I should have bought it ages ago. I remember talking about it on a stream about 6 months ago. Should have bought it, but can't be no more, can you? But in terms of, do I think it's already priced in? Probably not, no. Let's have a look at KSM, because we've had such a big pullback across the markets. Not even a million miles from where we've been in terms of all-time highs, are we? Is that a setup ahead there? I'll look at that. I was looking for a long way, but it must do a stop loss. That was a potential setup. Come down, hit my stop loss and fucked off, which is usually the case, isn't it? But we're kind of done. We did a 61% retracement there, as you can see, pretty much to a T, and popped back up. I was looking for that 382 retracement before we popped on, but that's the actual move that's happened, and I think we're going to push on now. Like I say, major target now is is those all-time highs. I think first level 8 at 550, and then we've got to look at 630 before we do start pushing on. But it's looking quite good. This a lot of alts have looked quite nasty over the last few months, but it seems to have held up well. KSM has. I'll get rid of that because that was a buy zone. Get rid of that. Let's just have a look at this latest move. So we'll get rid of that fib now. Looking at this on the hourly. Let's see if we can get any buys on this. Currently using that 236 as support. If depends what the market does in terms of BTC. If that pushes back up to 37k and starts testing 38, 39, it's going to drag all sort of weight. I mean, if you're looking for some buys, or maybe down at 462 could be a region. If we do get a sell-off, then you're going to look down at this region. But I'm more in favour of a push on today. So as you can see, this currently hourly candles pushing up, which is quite good. 510 bucks, so we're above 500 bucks now. Come back down and tested that region, but it's still nothing too major, so we could potentially pull back down, maybe fill some orders within this region. It's looking good, KSM now. Let's have a look at VChain. Could still say that we're creating a high low there. I'm glad it actually didn't wick down any further than that, because that would have been a little bit bearish. But we've created a higher low, so this is still looking good. I mean, it's not a trend, but as you can see, we are moving up, and each higher low is getting bought up and we're pushing on. So I think if we did close anything below this region down at anything below 10 cent would be quite nasty for price. But in general, I think it's looking good now. On the lower time frames, we're just starting to spin around a little bit. If you look at the hourly, we are rolling over now, which could be a good area for an entry. This region at around 11.3 cent. Might have a potential look at opening a long on that too. I feel like opening a few longs across the board. I think markets are starting to spin around. That Volcano news has been quite big. So let's have a look at this stop loss. Look at the RNR on it. Stop loss down at 618 at 10.7 cent. I'm going to go up and tag this region here is last week. So you're looking at a 20% move there. Entry at 11.3 cent. And try and target at 13.6 cent with stop loss down at 10.7. So that's a potential risk reward of 20% with no leverage at all. But in terms of price action, it's looking good. Like I say, high low, high low, high low. Things are looking okay there, to be honest. Let's have a look at Pluton. Still within this range, so if I ever get any spare cash, I keep throwing it into Pluton. I think the fundamentals on this are just massive. It's going to start getting widely used. I think a lot of people have started to get in the cards recently, and now we are in this area, which is pretty much my buy zone on the consolidation zone. As you can see, we've traded within this region a lot. I mean, anywhere from $5 up to $7, I think should be where you're looking to buy. Only got a small supply of this. Free crypto for using your card. Have I got my card with me? That bad boy. Get yourself one of them. And 3% cash back on all your purchases. Free crypto, really. I went out for a few pints every day. Well, I say a few. I had about 12 probably. Got some free crypto for it, so why not? Yeah, but buys, I wouldn't be doing much TA on this apart from buying within this zone. We do know that over the course of last month, we went all the way up to $29, and then the market shit its pants and brought us down, didn't it? But yeah, in terms of entries, buy now. Only got a low supply. I think only 1.6 million of them are in circulation with a maximum supply of 20 million. ERC20. You can get a Uniswap, Qcoin, some other decent exchanges. So if you're not in that, go and take a look at it. Just going back to BTC, we are starting to push up a little bit here. Let's see if any of them two play out. It would be nice if we got an entry at 3,500 and then go up and target that 40k region again. BTC will dump. What do you reckon? 1k? 7k? I don't think so, mate. Let's have a look at some other alts as well while we're here. So look at this one. If you follow my Twitter or even my Telegram group, you'll know that I've been quite a big fan of Caps, which has had a great launch there. I mean, listed up at 5 cent there. And look at that, we're currently up at 18 cents, so been all the way up to 23 cent. Let's have a look at this on the widescreen. So it's 2 hour time frame. Currently clinging onto that 382 level there. I think if you're looking for some buys, that looks like a region. If you want to have a top up on that. That 50% fibs holding up very nicely, 16.7 cent. I think that's a decent level for you to buy there. Long term, it's only got a fairly reasonably low supply, 2.5 billion, and not so much that is in circulation. Big links with Binance as well in terms of NFTs. Nothing to do with like listing, but I think that could be a potential on the horizon at some stage. I know it's new, so it's a bit too much to rush into, but if you're looking to buy 16.7 cent, I'd look at buying that up right up. Let's have a quick look at Tencent too. Feeling good today, Steve. So Tencent currently down at 296. I did some price analysis on this. It might have been on my last stream actually. I looked at this end time move and I said that 786 level at 275 was a good buy. And look at how I've come down, pretty much had a double bottom here and pushed up. So that is, if you're looking for a buy, I think now is a good area to buy. As you can see, if you dragged it all the way through, loads of liquidity within that region. So I think that's a bottom. We've had a lot of bounces off this region here. So yeah, looking to buy some Tencent 275. All-time high has been up to 638. Should get that revisited at some stage. Evening, Bobby Dazzler. I've already covered it earlier on, Steve, but I'll just show you. I would have seen that. But it's a 4 hour. Even though we had another dump of it across the last few days, we've still managed to create a higher low there. So higher low, higher low, higher low. I said it's not a trend really, but as you can see, we are still trending up. And I think it's looking okay, to be honest, mate. In terms of buys though, I was looking at this region here. 11.3 cent could be a decent area. With a potential long setup there if you fancy doing a bit of leverage. 20% risk reward there. Entry at 11.3 cent. Stop loss down at 618 at 10.7 cent. And then try and target this wick here. Up at 13.6 cent. I think could be a decent area to look at targeting. If the market doesn't shit the bed and drop. But I think it's looking okay. Like I say, we've had that bullish Volcano mining news for Bitcoin, so I think in general things are looking alright. Zooming out on the daily, still massively undervalued. I was saying I don't think this is the top. I still think we've got a good 6 to 10 months left of this cycle before we need to start looking at selling. But yeah, a long way to go yet, in my opinion, mate. $25k. Where do you pull that number from, mate? I think it's looking good so far, to be honest. 30k is held up very, very well. A lot of liquidity within that range down here. I think every man and his dog will be looking to buy up at 30k. I think we're just creating some nice structure here. I mean, in general, we've been down and tested that region probably 4 times now, and it's held up very, very well. Not saying it can't happen. 23, 25k is within this range here, so there's always a potential could pick some liquidity up down there. We traded there for at least a good week before we geared up, took a next leg up. Did a major pullback from 41k all the way down to 30k, which is similar to what we've done here with 30k up to 41k, bang, straight back down. But let's just monitor and see how it goes on. Nobody knows exactly what's going on, do we? You can give all these predictions, but in reality, we do not know. Yeah, that's what I'm looking to target. I think 40k is the first major level we need to check out. That's a potential setup I've got. Let's see if it happens. What I was looking for our closure really above 37k, and it happened. We're having a little bit of a retracement from that, but I think if we can regain 37k, we should push on, and we need to target this region here around 39k. If you got any alts you want me to cover, just drop them in chat and I'll try and get to them. Someone mentioned about volume on my Twitter earlier on. I think there's still a lot of fear in the market, isn't there? Let's have a look at greed and fear index actually. Fear is pretty much, greed and fear pretty much runs the market as well. Yeah, currently down at 21, so a lot of people are hesitant of buying Bitcoin currently. What's pushing up at the minute is that El Salvador news with Bitcoin mining, and the fact that they're going to be using it as legal tender. So yeah, there's no volume because people are wanting to buy because they're fearful. And there's a lot of shorts out there. I read something about 7,500 BTC shorts have in play. So that's potentially something that could pull us down, or some sailor tweet could come in and liquidate that short. So still in uncertain times, and that's why the volume's low. Best alts I've case in Dot and Vet, all 3 decent projects to be honest, mate. Probably 3 of the best there. What we got in chat then? Going to take a look at Luna. It's been absolutely savage, Luna, hasn't it? Looks like within this trading area. Look at this region around here. Had a lot of trading there. I mean, you're talking a solid month before we did start to push on, and you could say that is the liquidity area. Same's happening around here now. I think we're trading within this liquidity zone, and people are picking up orders. I think it's looking like it's probably you would say that's around the bottom around that region. I can't see it going any lower than 588 to be honest. I mean, where we've been up to $22. not much going on, to be honest. I think it's just sideways accumulation, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. If you're looking to buy, I mean, this is probably a region around here. If you look at these wicks, had a lot of trading bouncing off this region. That wick there, rejected off it here, 3 bounces, 2 bounces. So I think if you're looking for buying, might get some tested pretty much $5 on the nose. And then in terms of targets, I think we need to break through this region here, which is 863, and then this major region up here, around there. So you're looking anywhere around $10. Probably a good region to break through. What do I think of XRP? XRP was the first ever crypto I bought back in 2017. I like XRP's technology and network because it's absolutely rapid. It's cheap to send, but I just don't like all the shilling that comes with it and all the XRP army goons. So I don't hold any now. But like I say, it's a decent network. It's just quite heavily centralized. Is ADA worth it? I've never been the biggest fan of ADA, to be honest. It was a flip between me for either ADA or Polkadot. Both geezers come from Ethereum towards the beginning, and I just prefer Gavin Wood's outlook on it, so I'm a big believer in Polkadot rather than ADA, to be honest. Never stuck out to me, ADA. How many assets performing well this morning? B Pro. That got savaged, didn't it? I remember that. Vita. So Theta here. Let's look at the daily first. We're definitely in an uptrend. So that's the bottom where we did tip down to 384. We then created a high low. I mean, you could even say it was a high low there, to be honest, as well. High low here. So that's your high low. High low, high low, high low, high low. That means it's good for structure. In terms of trend analysis, we are trending up. So that to me shows that we've got some bullish structure forming. So really what we need to target is these wicks here. We're actually rejected here on the 4th of June, come back down. But in terms of drops, it's not dropped too much over the course of the last few weeks, and it's not followed some. But this is a region. I think if we do break above this here at $10 region, we will go up and test that $13 region, and then all-time highs is up at $15.90. So it did get quite a savage pullback, but not as big as some alts. I mean, from the very highs to the lows, 75%. That's what happens in a bear season usually, but over the course of about 3 years, all alts did it in the space of about 2 weeks, which were quite nasty. But we've made a good bounce back already. If you look at that in terms of recovery, 175% up to the high, so that's okay. Like I say, in terms of structural, it's looking good. I think a closure below this range here now would pretty much swing it bearish from the lower time frames, but in general I think it's looking okay, and I think, like I say, closing above $10.50, $10.60 region will take us up to this next region at $13. Volcano. I've ever looked around, to be honest. So many charts look very, very similar in alts, don't they? We've had them and parabolic moves over the course of the last 8 to 10 months, maybe hit them highs. We've done a fairly big retracement. Where do we hit the highs? Back in March. Done a 66% pullback. Again, consolidation within this range now. Hit that 68%, actually closed below it and then popped back up. Showed that there was some liquidity within that region. If you look at this region here, even going all the way through to there, we had that wick. And if you look at this region as well, so that's your buy zone if we do come back down to test it at 389. And then first major region to get through is this here. And once you push above that, we can target this range here, which is close to that extension at 618. So 516 first area to break through, and then can look at 643, I think, after that. But yeah, very similar to a lot of other alts. Major sell off, but nothing to worry about. Maybe not that much BTC, but it's going to go up there soon, mate. Let's look what trading's going on here. This is a good website if anyone's interested in looking at BTC orders over 100k. It shows you all the major big orders. It's bounced at 36,700, pushing up now. Some big orders coming through on the right hand side here. 823 BTC buy. Pump it. Let's go back up to this region, please. Reef. I actually hold some reef still. Let me have a look how much I've got. I'm actually down on reef. Must have bought it. What level price did I buy that at? Must have bought it about 3 cents, currently 2.2. I think it's reef. Right, so reef. I was looking at that level to be the bottom, to be honest, at 2.4 cents. We actually lost that. Come all the way down to 1.6, which is mega. If you look all the way through though, if we just look at this region here, that was a bottom there when we wicked off it and we started pushing up. We've actually hit that area twice to an absolute T, so that probably is a bottom now. It may come back down to test that region at 1.6 again, if you're lucky. But looking at the 4 hour, can't believe how accurate them wicks were. Maybe look for some buy. I think 2 cents might actually hold up as some nice support now. I know 2 cents right down here, which it did act as support. So if you're looking for buys, 2.1 cents. I've not been keeping my eye on my project, so fundamentally, I'm not sure what's going on. I know we had, I know mainnet happened, but I've not really looked into it, so what's going on, so I can't really say much about that. I'm just going back to BTC. We are on a bit of a, oh, we're on 1.6% down today. We need to close back up to that, need to close back up to that 37k region. Need to close above there today, and then gives us might even close above that next few hours. Just need to monitor and see how it goes on. Thoughts on XRR? It's been a bit of a pig. I'm holding RSR too. Not much going on, is there really? Within this range around here. Probably a buy zone before. I think a lot of these alts, we had this big trading area, massive move to the upside, massive move to the downside. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of patterns, to be honest, but I mean, draw that on. Could say there's some form of heads and shoulders forming before we do push on, but let's just monitor it and see how it pushes on. I mean, you could always head and shoulders when we could get a drop to the downside, but I can't see it going any lower, to be honest, because I think if a lot of alts drop below current levels, I think it would just flip as bearish long term. Looking at buy zones, I'd just buy anything within this range, mate. I think it's massively undervalued. Decent project. My favourite alts. VeChain, Zilliqa, Polkadot, Reserve Rights. Actually, one of my favourites, I mean, it's the newest one, which is Turnover. I'm holding quite a bit of that. It's a decent project. I was looking, saying we've used this area a couple of times as buy zone at 16.7 cents. It's ticker caps if you're unaware of what it is. I think it's a solid project. Been up to 23 cents. It's only launched. When it launched 28th of May, so you're only talking it's a couple of weeks old. I think now is a decent chance to get in within this range here before we do start making that next leg up, because if you're looking at a consolidation before the next leg, this could be a consolidation before the next leg up. It's definitely a multi-dollar coin at some stage. Only 2.5 billion max supply. Not too sure how many is in circulation yet, but it's not too much, to be honest. So I think that's a decent one you should definitely take a look at. And then Pluton, I think Pluton's a good one as well. Daily spends on a crypto card and earn some rewards, so yeah. Do you have an interest in XCAD? I do actually, but I've not looked into it in depth yet. I've just not had time to do any research on it with work and looking at other projects. So I know it had a bit of a shit launch, didn't it? I think it listed something ridiculous, then dumped. Right, I'll cover one more project and I'll wrap it up. Got a few videos to make today, so. So look at chilies. So I'll have a look at XRP for you. Not looking good in terms of structure here. We're not creating anything to me that I would say it looks bullish. I mean, we had a higher low, but then we pretty much dropped below that higher low. So that thought in terms of structure for movement up is not too good. It did a full retracement at that end time. If you look at that move there, pretty much did a full retracement at that move, and now we're pushing on. So I mean, I think that was your entry down there at 79 cent. I think I'm in a bit of a long at the minute currently on XRP. Just trying to practice a few trading methods, and I think I longed it from around 86 cents. So I'm slightly up at a minute. But I think we just need to see what BTC does. I think, unfortunately, the entire market's still run by what BTC is doing, and if it's going to pump, alts are going to dump. But we can still identify some key levels in altcoin pairs, but ultimately BTC is still running the show. So I mean, if you're looking for buys, there's still targets region here, 85.9 cents, and we can look at these to take profit up at $1 and 126. So that's going to do it for today's stream anyway, guys. Just a quick morning update there on a bit of BTC news, Volcano mining, and some altcoin price analysis. If you're new to this channel, please make sure that you're subscribed. I'll be doing a I'm off work now for about 20 days, so I'll be doing a stream most days. So probably catch me between 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's it. Make sure you are subscribed if you're new. Hit that like button, and I'll catch you later on.